Hello everybody and welcome back to Learn Hittite. Today we're delving into a topic that's sure to fascinate anyone intrigued by Bronze Age Anatolia and its languages like Luwian or Hittite, because the history of these two languages is interwoven with a third language, the Hattic language. But first, let's embark on a journey back in time to the 3rd and 2nd millennia BCE. Our destination for today's video is the central and eastern region of the Anatolian peninsula, situated east of the Kızılırmak River, the heartland of the Hittites and the Hattians. In this historically rich area, we find the heartland of the Hittite kingdom and their predecessors, the Hattians. The Hittite kingdom was once known as the land of Hatti, and as you may well recall from one of our previous videos on the origins of the Hittites, the Khazarans, a minor Indo-European Hittite-speaking tribe, gradually wrested control of the land of Hatti from the Hattians. This process gave us the Proto-Hittite kingdom. It's important to note, however, that the Hattic language itself had non-Indo-European origins. The Hattians, intriguingly, never left behind written records of their language. Instead, the entirety of the Hattic language is preserved within Hittite documents. Fortunately, some of these documents are bilingual, providing valuable insights into the Hattic language. The geographical and temporal extent of Hattic is challenging to pinpoint, and some linguists speculate that the Kashgan people, to the northeast of the Hittite kingdom, might have spoken a form of Hattic. This suggests that Hattic possibly survived alongside Hittite and other Anatolian languages for centuries after their land was usurped by the Khazarans. However, it's most likely that after the assimilation of the Hattians into the Hittite kingdom via the Khazarans, the Hattic language continued only to be spoken in some rural areas. Hattic's lasting impact. But there's more to this story. The cultural identity of the Hittites is a complex tale, and the most enduring impact of Hattic culture and language was its vital role in Hittite cult practices. The Hittites preserved and integrated Hattian songs, recitations, incantations, and myths into their religious rituals. Within the Hittite corpus, we come across the adverb Hattili, meaning in the way of the Hattians. This adverb often accompanies verbs associated with ritual performance, such as speaking, reciting, or singing. When it comes to religious practices, distinguishing what the Hittites inherited from their Indo-European ancestors and what they adopted from the Hattians can be challenging. Hittite texts even mention the accuracy of Hattian rituals being performed, underscoring the importance of precise preservation. In fact, there's one story where there's a group of priests who are particularly offended by a Hattian ritual being performed incorrectly. Hattic language characteristics. Now let's talk about the Hattic language itself. According to the academic Petra Goedegabur, Hattic is an agglutinative language, meaning it combines individual units of meaning together to convey more complex ideas. Nouns are marked for number and gender, of which there are 2 in total, and the verb typically appears at the beginning of a clause, unlike Hittite, where we often find it placed at the end. Hattic lacks articles, and adjectives precede nouns. Most interestingly, the plural in Hattic is marked by one of 2 prefixes. Throughout its existence, the Hattic language likely held prestige in various forms. We know that the Hittites preserved Hattian cult practices, and Hattian influences can be observed in Hittite, not only in vocabulary, but also possibly in terms of grammar. And there is one theory proposed by Goedegabur suggesting that the Luwians, who spoke a sister language to Hittite, may have influenced Hattic before the rise of the Khazarans and the Hittite kingdom. But it wouldn't be a Learn Hittite video if we didn't learn some language. So today I'm going to present to you a few vocabulary items in 1 or 2 different forms so we get a feel for how the language looked and worked. Now, our knowledge of Hattic is quite patchy. We have 550 Hattic inscriptions preserved inside the Hittite corpus, of which about 50 are bilingual. So really there's not much to go on for linguists to give this language a thorough analysis. So today I'm not going to present any complicated sentences, just something simple to give us a flavour and overview of the language. So let's get stuck into it. We've got a word here, top left, kati. There will be some variance in the representation of vowels. Sometimes, for example, this you see an e being represented instead of the I. However, it translates to king. Below we have kata. Pay attention to the difference of the ending, and this translates to queen. So it's curious what this might represent, how these different endings influence the root form. Now, what is most curious about Hattic is the way that it forms plurals, because it forms its plurals by using prefixes, and Hattic has two of those, esh and wa. So let's take this example here. Esh kata would translate to queens. Wakati would be kings, and here it's attested in the word tewakati, meaning its kings. Te representing third person possessive. So we can see here how Hattic has a tendency to like to stack these prefixes before the root or the stem. We also know that these two prefix forms used to make plural nouns were also used to make plural verbs. Moving on, we've got two further examples. Pur means land. With the prefix esh, it would translate to lands. Wa'ashap, so again with this plural prefix, we get the translation of gods. It's unknown as of yet what exactly dictates the use of esh versus wa, but hopefully as academics continue to study Hattic language and maybe as additional inscriptions are discovered, we will get a better understanding of how this language functions. So that's it from me for today. I hope you found this interesting. It was an honour for me to spend a few moments talking to you about Hattic language. I'll wish everybody a good day and speak to you all soon.